What's the next stage?
Welcome back to another Media Guys will Cover review. We're finally reviewing another anime again, with Pokemon Origins. A special movie kinda sorta? It seemed to have in Japan been released as a film with all 4 episodes put together, while internationally it was released as 4 separate episodes. It also serves as a tie-in to Pokemon X and Y, which are also the first Pokemon games I personally played, with its use of Mega Charizard X in the final episode, Hype Up Mega Evolution, the game's key mechanics. But honestly, this series was not really that good, to be honest. Maybe watching it as a movie like it was aired in Japan might have helped my opinion on it, but as I watched it as 4 separate episodes, yeah, it's not really that good. Like, this show feels like watching the first episode of a show, a one-off episode of a show, and 2 of the last major battles in the show, and they were nice enough to tell you the things that happened in between these episodes. Like, the first episode of Pokemon Origins is actually pretty good. It sets up Red and Blue's characters pretty well, with Red being an inexperienced newcomer, and Blue's the cocky douchebag who's way more experienced with Pokemon battles. And they have like the rivalry between them set up pretty well, and you're kind of interested in it. And the use of more accurate imagery and rules from the game is also pretty cool. And Brock is a wise trainer who teaches Red the ropes of being a better Pokemon trainer through battling with him is an actually pretty decent start to a show. But then the other 3 episodes disappoint. Like, I get that this show isn't trying to tell the full story here, and instead basically going for a greatest hit compilation of Generation 1. But if you're like me and don't really care about Generation 1 that much, none of these episodes can really hit that much. Like, I think the major failure of this comes in the 3rd and the last episode. The 2nd episode is also disappointing, but it feels like a one-off episode just there because the fact that the location of Viridian City is very popular due to being creepy, which the episodes doesn't really portray that well, and to show also how sort of cruel Team Rocket is as poachers who would use the gravesite of the Pokemon they poach as their hideout. Also to introduce Team Rocket because the 3rd episode focuses on the fight against Giovanni as a gym leader, which is events to focus on makes sense because again, the twist of the final gym leader being the leader of the evil organization of poachers you've been fighting all game is a very interesting twist. This flashed for 2 reasons. The first is just the consequence of the approach they went with, that being that we never get to know half the other gym leaders. The other discussed Red feels for Giovanni being one of them just doesn't hit. Second is that they try to have Giovanni go through an arc here with having his battle with Red make him reconsider his entire organization's plan, which again could work if Red after the first episode had a real show of his character in a way that would make it make sense as his passion for battle. They make an evil mafia boss want to turn a new leaf, which they just don't do because again, they don't have the time to do that. And there's the last episode, which before I criticize it, I can give it the credit that this episode is definitely the best animated episode. Everything else about it is kind of lackluster. But the fight against Red and Blue, which for the title of the Pokemon Champion. This is also another major moment in the game, made lame because Blue, due to the show's structured, had portrayed himself as nothing else but a loser, and she wouldn't be surprised if defeated by Red. And the only good part of their fight is the animation, and then you get the Mewtwo versus Mega Charizard X fight, which again is a very cool looking fight. The whole idea of the friendship or bond that Mega Evolution is supposed to be based on is lost here, because whatever relationship Red and Charizard is supposed to have isn't demonstrated in the story, it can only be implied by the audience, making it again kind of lackluster and lame outside the animation. I feel the big issue here can again be traced back to my previous statement of if you aren't nostalgic for Gen 1, it just doesn't hit. Everything that's not the first episode, maybe the second, is essentially carried by Gen 1 nostalgia in terms of you actually caring about it, you're feeling emotionally invested in it, which I don't care if it's supposed to just be a side thing or not, just makes the product not engaging. Like, I could compare it to the OG anime or the manga. That'd be unfair since those actually got time to adapt their stories into interesting and unique ways, instead of basically being something that lives and breathes on its audience being nostalgic alongside showing off how cool Mega Evolution is. So in the end, while Pokemon Origins isn't bad per se, it's really mid. And when there are better ways to experience the events of Gen 1's games, it's just not really worth watching like that outside of a decent first episode and cool final fight. So see you in another review where I'm hopefully more positive.